Hey everybody, it's Heidi. Welcome back to my channel. First of all, I just want to thank everyone who has subscribed or liked or commented on any of my videos. I really appreciate all your support and I'm glad that you like my videos. So today I'm going to show you my finished colorings for September and October. And I have quite a bit, so it might be a little bit long. So let me just move these off to the side and we'll get going. Okay, the first thing I have to show you is this page from Hannah Carlson's Magical Dawn Artist Edition, and this is sort of heavy cardstock. And I'm almost done with this book. I have only one more to do after this and I will be finished. So that's very exciting. This is, I turned it into a black swan. I was going to say this is the black swan, but it's the swan page and I made it a black swan. Kind of in the mood of fall, like kind of a darker theme. I don't know, I just thought it would be pretty. And I used Limouche markers as a base and Prismacolors for the shading. I'll just bring it up a little bit so you can see just a little bit closer, but I like how this turned out. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm going to try not to say it was a lot of fun after each and every one because they were all pretty much fun. So I'm going to attempt to stop doing that. Okay, so there's that one. And the next one I have is in Color It Mandalas. And I did one page in here. I did this page. Really bright and vivid. I used ultrafine Sharpies on this, and that's it. Just bring it up a little bit. Yep, I like it. There's that one. Next book I have is Coloring Mexico by Malacara and Gale. And I did one page in here. I did the Lotteria page. And let's see, so this was about the time when I had gotten my golden satin glazing liquid and I was kind of experimenting with it. So I based this page with it. And then I used Tombow dual brush markers. And then a little bit of Wink of Stella for some sparkle. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. Like on the moon right there, you can see there's a little bit of sparkle. But I really loved how the markers go down on the golden satin glazing liquid. They just work so well and you can blend them out. Like here you can see I did a little blending with them. Yeah, so really happy with the golden satin glazing liquid so far. Next one is in Doodle Worlds by Angela Porter. And I did one page in here. I did this page, this very bright page. And this page I did with ultrafine Sharpies, Bics, the Bic markings, which are like in Bic intensity, Blick Studio brush markers, and Castle Art pencils. on top for some shading. Just show you the areas a little bit closer. This was a really fun one to do. There, I just did it again. But I like how it turned out. Very bright and colorful. So that was Doodle Worlds by Angela Porter. And the next one is in Festive Mexicantalavera Designs by Marjorie Sarnat. And this one was a buddy color. Let me get to the page. This one was a buddy color with Lisa from Coloring My Way. And it was really fun to do that. Thanks, Lisa. Excuse me. So this is my version. And I used Blick Studio brush markers, Color Soft pencils for some shading, and then I went over some of the areas and made these little white dots with white Posca. And I am going to put a picture of Lisa's up on the screen right after this. And I really love how hers came out. Mine is just kind of like traditional Mexican, I don't know, like, you know, happy summer colors. But I really like how she used some different colors, like kind of funky and different, just something unexpected. So yeah, I'm going to put it up on the screen after this. Yeah, so again, thanks Lisa for that buddy color. It was really fun. And then the next one I did was in 50 Jungle Miniatures by Camelia Angelkova. And I just did the intro page. This was just sort of like experimenting with it, I guess. I was just in the mood to do this little page. But this was very exciting because I used Prismacolor pencils and the Prismacolor colorless blender. And I hadn't used that for a while. I have used it before and I guess wasn't really super thrilled with it, or it seemed to take a really long time, which is still true. It does take a very long time to go over everything. But in this case, with the Prismacolor pencils on this Amazon paper, I really loved how it came out, how the colors just turned so vibrant and pretty, and it was really fun. It was kind of an adventure seeing what the colors were going to end up as, because they looked really different before blending with the colorless blender. So anyway, yeah, I'm happy with that one. And the next one I did was in Fantastic Planet by Steve McDonald. I hadn't done anything in this for a while, or in any of his books, because they're kind of intimidating. They're very detailed, and they just take quite a while to do. But I don't know why I chose this page, but this is the Baca Lagoon in Viti Levu, Fiji, apparently. And so with this page, I wanted to kind of experiment. So I used the King Art gel sticks as a base for everything. And it took quite a bit of time. I used a brush and I used them dry, put them on a palette and just applied them to the page. And then after that, I went over with pencil, and I used Marco Raffine pencils, and then and some Black Widow pencils too. And then I also did some shading with fine liners because it was really lacking depth, and I was trying to get some more depth. So if you can see, oh yeah, how I went in with some fine liners there and tried to add a little bit of shading because the pencil really wasn't doing that much at a certain point. So yeah, I like how that turned out with the fine liners, but all in all, I don't really love how all the colors blend together. It doesn't really go. I don't know, something about it bugs me, but I like some areas of the picture. Like, I love all this purple, and I like this area down here, but all together, yeah, not so sure. But, you know, can't win them all. So that was kind of the end of this summer, and the next pages are sort of when I went into autumn coloring. So in Mini Pusheen by Claire Belton, I did this little page, and this was another experiment with golden satin glazing liquid. So I based it with that, and then I just went over with Papermate Flares because I wanted to see if I could blend the water-based markers on a base of golden satin glazing liquid, and it worked really well. So if I bring it up, you can see how they blended. So I just put down some colors, and they just kind of blended together like that. And I may have used a little brush with some water to do that. I think I might have. So you can see how you can use them like watercolors, which I think is really exciting. And then I used a little bit of Crayola pencil on top for shading, like in the pile of leaves there. You can see I used a little bit of pencil. So there's that one. And then in Jade Summer's Greatest Hits, 100 Best Coloring Pages, I did one page, another autumn page. Ugh, I lift it up. Okay, so I like how this one came out. This was fun to do. This was just sort of at the, I don't know, mid-September when fall just started to seem to arrive here. But I used Lemon markers as a base, and then I used Black Widow, Black Widow pencils on top for some shading. And just bring it up a little bit so you can see some of the detail. Yep, so there's that. I like it. And the next one is in Sauger Oxagner by Emily Lidahall Oberg, or Lidahall, I'm not sure. And I did this page. And I tried to make it kind of a fall page with the leaves sort of turning brown. Yeah, it's sort of a nice autumn theme, I thought. But this page I based with golden satin glazing liquid. And then, okay, so this was a little interesting. Then what I did was I used Brute Spooner squares to do coloring on the little gnome. And then at that point, I realized I didn't really want to do the whole thing in pencil, and it was going to take forever, and I wasn't in the mood. So I thought I would do an experiment. So I did the pencil first, and then I based it with the golden satin glazing liquid, and it worked fine. So I've discovered that you can do that, and it won't make the pencil run, at least with the Brute Pruner squares that I used. It won't do anything to the pencil, keeps it looks just perfect. So then after that dried, I went over with Tombow Dual Brush Markers, and it started out being kind of a mess in some areas because I found that even though I started to blend it out with water, like watercolor, it didn't really work very well because you could see some of the strokes, which is not what I wanted. So that is why I did all of these lines all around, to hide some of the mistakes that I made when I first started doing it. But I kind of like how it ended up looking. I think it works in the long run, but it was really a mess for a while. And then I used some iridescent paint on the gnome's belt buckle. I don't know if you can see that. And buttons and stuff. And then I used what else? Oh, just a gold paint pen on these little sparkly things. So yeah, I think that in the end it turned out pretty well. And then in Sun Life Drawing 40 coloring pages, I just did one day when I was just in the mood to fill in spaces. I just did this weasel with a black Sharpie when I was listening to a podcast. Yeah, it was fun, very relaxing. And then I did a page in Circle of Life by Melpomene Chatsapanagiotu. And this was my first page in here. And because I was kind of getting into spider season, so this seemed very appropriate. And I used Brute Pruner squares on this, and I really liked how they worked on this paper. Yeah, they went down really well. It looked really vivid and clear and bright. I was really happy with that. And then I used some Jelly Roll glaze on the butterfly or moth's wings, so you can see the shine. Yeah, just wanted to make those stand out a little bit. I'll just bring it up so you can see more detail. Yeah, this is a beautiful book. I had a lot of fun doing this page. So, Circle of Life. And then, oh, right, okay, so before this one, so at the end of September, I went on a vacation for a week, and when I was on vacation, I brought my mini iPad and I did a bunch of colorings in my digital coloring app called Pigment, and I'll throw those in at the end of the video in case anyone's interested in seeing them. And also in September, I knit a little sweater for a friend's dog, and I'll throw in a picture of that too in case anyone wants to see that. I'll put those in at the end. So when I came back from my vacation, it took me a while to get back into coloring again. I just wasn't in the mood at all. I just wanted to sit and fill in spaces with one color. So I picked this book up and I did this page, which is Chief Hopper. I kind of wish it weren't split down the middle like that, but yeah, you know, whatever. And then Joyce, and then Billy. So that was a lot of filling in spaces with Pilot G2 pen. It was fun. And then after that, I guess I got it out of my system, whatever. So I was sort of in the mood to do some other things. So I did a page in this isometric grid notebook. This isn't technically coloring, I guess, but I consider it coloring, so I'm going to show you here anyway. I just picked this up recently in a haul, and I did this page just I picked out a Halloween color palette, kind of, and I used Arteza fine liners and just kind of started in the middle. I didn't even like plan it. I just kind of picked what looked like a center point and just sort of went for it. And I really love how this came out. It reminds me of Navajo designs. But yeah, it was super fun. Love how that came out. I'm looking forward to doing more, designs in this book. And then, let's see, I don't think these are in order. So this is definitely now getting into the October Halloween coloring. Yeah, I don't think this is in order at all, but yeah, so at some point I picked this up and looked at it, put it back on the shelf. Couldn't figure out what to color, picked it up again, looked at it, put it back, and did that a few times because it was just kind of, I was like, I don't know if I really have the energy to get into this. But then finally I was just like, come on, just do it. Just start it and it'll be fine. Just start somewhere. So I picked this page. This is from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This is my favorite TV show of all time. So this is from season 2. It's the episode called Halloween. Buffy fans will recognize it, I'm sure. So I started with the sky because I knew it should be a night scene or around dusk or whatever. So I just started with the sky and then moved on to the trees and then the houses in the background, trying to get like a night-ish kind of vibe, and moved on from there to the front of the picture, and it worked out because I was really kind of scared and didn't know how to make it look like a night scene, but in the end I think it really works. I'm very happy with how this came out, and it took me several days and it was so much fun to do. I just loved it, loved every moment of it. So, and oh yeah, I did this with Castle Art pencils and nothing else. So there's that. And I also did a page in Pop Manga Cute and Creepy by Camilla D'Erico. And this is the first page I've done in this book too, even though I've had it for a while. So I did the kitty in the pumpkin page. And on this page I used Arteza pencils. So I did the kitty and the pumpkin first with the pencils. And then, let me just show you. I didn't really have to do a lot because it's sort of a grayscale image anyway. But then I wanted to do some kind of easy background with the pumpkins, or around the pumpkins. So I used King Art gel sticks in a couple of different colors, some yellows and some green, and just used it dry with a brush, like a large brush that I would use for distress inks, and just applied the gel sticks like that. And then I went back over all the little pumpkins with Arteza pencils too. So I think that looks pretty cute. Happy with it. Oops, sorry, I just moved the camera, I think. And then in Jasmine Beckett Griffith's Halloween, this is one of my favorite Halloween books to do. I did a page in here. I did this page. This was one of my favorites of the whole time. I think it might be my absolute favorite, or maybe the Buffy one. But this one is based on a painting called I Vampiri Bellissimo Leto, which means the beautiful bed. And I did it with, so once again I used golden satin glazing liquid as a base. And then I used Tombow dual brush markers for, pretty much all of the color, the base color. And I also used, I found a picture of the original painting on Jasmine Beckett Griffith's website and used it as a reference and tried to match her painting the best that I could. That's kind of what I'm doing in her books so far, just because it's really fun for me. Yeah, so going off of her photo, I put down the marker base and then I went over with Crayola pencils for shading, and there's some Staedtler fine liners in there. I'm not sure exactly where I put them now. And then there's some white jelly roll for highlights in various places, like on the jewels and things, I think. I'll just show you some of the detail. This took me a couple days, but yeah, it was so much fun to do. I loved it, and I love how it came out. And another page that I did was in Creepy Kawaii by Larissa May. And I did the cover page. I think when I did this page, it was like right when I was getting back into it after doing the Stranger Things pages, so I wasn't really super thrilled about coming up with color palettes and such, so I just decided to sort of copy the cover. So yeah, looks pretty similar. I used Blick Studio brush markers, Crayola pencils for some of the shading, and and then I used some white gel pen. I'm not totally sure which gel pen it was. Maybe it was the Uniball white, because I really liked that one. But I really liked how they used just a ton of white details on this cover image. So I thought that was a good, interesting, and fun kind of way to go about it. So that's what I did in here too. Yeah, so it was fun. And let's see, I also did a page in Color Me Crazy by Peter Deladish. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but he is Peter Draws on YouTube. He does a lot of really cool art, and I think this is quite old now. I think it's from 2016 or so, but yeah. So I did this page. I used sort of like a Halloween-ish color palette, and yeah, just filled in these spaces. So I used Crayola Super Tips for this, and this was just like one of those days where I was just, actually it took more than one day. I was just filling in spaces, listening to my podcast, enjoying myself. Like how that came out. And Beauty of Horror, Tricks and Treats by Ellen Robert. This is one of my favorite Halloween books too that I have. And I did 2 pages in here. Did this page, The Headless Horseman. And I based it with Golden Satin Glazing Liquid once again. And then I used Tombow Dual Brush Markers and Stettler Fine Liners for the color. And then I went over for some shading with Crayola pencils. So I used the fine liner on like the horse, like the skeleton, where the details are super, super fine. Yeah, just show you some of the... But I just love how the water-based markers work on top of the satin glazing liquid. It makes it just a pleasure to do. And the colors stay nice and bright and true instead of getting super dark like they do if you don't, if they just soak into the paper. Yeah, so that was, I like how that came out. I'm not going to say it was fun, although it was. Okay, and then I did this page, this creepy vampire in this cave. I just did this last weekend, I think. So for this one, I used gelatos for the background, and did it in sort of a different way than I had before. So I used a gray and a kind of a dusty purple, and just scribbled them onto the page, and then used a brush with just a tiny bit of water to blend them out. And then once that was done, I used some pencil to just even it out a little bit. Used Crayola, no, Black Widow pencils in this case. Yeah, for the shading. So yeah, that is what he looks like. Very creepy. Made him kind of purpley blue. Reminds me of vampires in Buffy too. I like how that came out. And then the one new Halloween book that I got this year was Wee Wickeds by Carla Magana. I'm tempted to buy all of her coloring books now because I really had fun in this book. I bought this one just to see if I would enjoy coloring her in her style, and I did. They're really fun to color. So I did this little creepy froggy dude I drew the border around it because I just like to have a border if I can. I used Oahu alcohol markers as a base, Crayola pencils for the shading, and that's it on this page. Just bring it up a little bit. But yeah, I like Carla Magana's illustrations. They're fun. So there was that page, and then I did this one second, and the first one I did with this was this little clown dude. Not very creepy, or not very wicked, I should say, but cute. I drew the border around it. I used, Oahu alcohol markers and Crayola pencils for the shading. And then on this page, I used a little bit of Wink of Stella on the stars, and the stars on the clown's hat, and on the costume. But I was happy with how that came out too. So those are in We Wickeds by Carla Magana. And then I did one page in Chibi Horror Grayscale by Jade Summer. And I did this page. She's like, kind of like a demonic Pinky Tuscadero, if anybody remembers her from Happy Days. That's probably dating me severely, but that's the way it is. So I used Lemachet markers for the base on this one, and also Blick Studio brush markers. And then I used Prismacolor pencils for a little bit of shading, just to get some deeper shadows on the gray areas, and also Crayola pencils. Because I wanted to get a little bit more, I don't know if it worked or not, but I think it kind of did. I wanted to get a little bit more of a dramatic look going. Like in the flames and stuff. But yeah, that was fun. I did it again. Like how that came out. And then I did a page in Halloween Horror by Color Questopia. It's color by number. And I did this page, which I really like. I didn't really go by what they said to do. I sort of did, but not entirely. I used Bic markings and Crayola Super Tips, and then I used Prismacolors on top for shading. So, if I remember correctly, some of these little gravestones were supposed to be red, according to the colors that they wanted you to do, and I thought that would look kind of weird, so I just kept them gray. And then on the tree, they had this tree all one color of brown, and I just wanted to make it a little bit more varied looking, so I used some of the light browns, medium browns that were used in the background, just put those in the tree, and I like how that came out. Yeah, I like adding the shading too. It gives it a little bit more atmospheric kind of effect. So that was in Halloween Horror by Color Questopia. And just 2 more to go. So I did one in The Beauty of Horror by Alan Robert. Did this Scarecrow and Pumpkins page. So that is what he looks like. I did this with Spirifarben pencils, almost entirely with just the pencils. I did use an Ohuhu water-based marker for the dark brown in between the corn stalks, because I just wanted, it was all kind of blending together, and I wanted to really emphasize the background there, and I think that works. Yeah, I like how that one came out. It was pretty quick too. It was quicker than I had imagined it would be. So there's that one. And then lastly, I have coloring Dia de Muertos. I had to do one for the Day of the Dead, even though it hasn't happened yet. It's in a day or two. But I did this page here with these cute little skulls and the flowers. and I used Crayola Super Tips on this. And I think that's it, except for I put in a little bit of Wink of Stella. You can see on the arrows there, or whatever those are. Maybe that's all. And yeah, I guess so. So I think that turned out pretty. And yeah, I think that's all. So that is it. That's the last one. That's all I've got to show you. I'm going to put in some pictures, those digital coloring pictures, following if anyone is interested in that. But if not, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing my finished pages for the last couple of months. Hope you're all doing well, enjoying your coloring, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.